And welcome to the Redeye stream number 223. It's Monday, so it's the news. I got a pretty funny one to start off with here, unless we should start off with the elephant in the room, and that's either HW dying over the weekend or France continuing to burn. What do you want? What do you boys want to start off with? Nigeria or Paris on fire?
Crazy person's choice.
It's your stream, mate. Your call.
All right. Well, let's start with this Nigerian thing real quick because it's hilarious. This comes out of Breitbart. It's the real me. Nigerian president denies dying and being replaced with a clone of himself. Okay. Can Nigeria even cure like polio, much less clone the president?
Well, what does the story say? The reason he was
well, Africa's getting a lot of help from China at the moment.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, well, all right. So Nigerian president Buhari is his last name, issued a defiant rejection of rumors that he had died and secretly been replaced by a clone during remarks in Poland on Sunday. Buhari is in the Eastern European nation to attend a climate change conference, though he stopped for an event geared towards the Nigerian public on Sunday. He made the remarks during an open question session in which aides read him questions from the Nigerian public. Nigerian social media, they have social media?
Freaking A!
Yeah. I didn't even know they had. Interesting. Has recently...
That says that you've been cloned.
Maybe he was cloned from an AIDS virus.
Okay, so Nigerian social media has recently been home to a vigorous debate on whether the 75-year-old Buhari, prone to long absences from the country to receive unspecified medical care, died long ago and was replaced with Jibril, a clone from Sudan. Jibril is how they spell this person. Jibril, yeah. A clone from Sudan. Okay, so Sudan did the cloning. This is getting even more worse.
Okay, and why does the Sudanese want to clone the Nigerian president?
I have no clue. Okay, is there social media? They just pin a message to a monkey? And it's just... the hell's going on here?
No, they don't have. No, they got social media, but it's called the jungle drums,
which is what I was doing earlier.
Beat out that tune. They got natural rhythm.
Well, that's probably true. I'm not going to clever claim that I was a drummer. I would never have made it as an artist.
Oh, I see. Like you were the one. You were the one banging. I thought it was one of Mad Dodge's kids.
No, it was me. I was never mind.
All right.
The joke use.
I thought it was a brat attack.
I thought it was Cabby's door and his Chinese food has showed up. We're all confused.
Which is how you end up with Mad Dodge was cloned.
Yes. In Guatemala.
That's better than Sudan. Like seriously? Where
Yeah,
are they coming up with this idea?
Yeah, but you were cloned in Guatemala by a Nigerian.
Wait, what is this? Is this Mad Dog's actual lore?
It's an actual story from Breitbart. The Nigerian prince has been cloned by the Sudanese and replaced at a climate change conference.
Yeah, it all fits together.
Just giving him the backstory.
The closest thing I can come up with is somebody sit up there and showed him a freaking episode from, I don't know, Kim Possible or something. And basically this has been happening.
That's a good show.
And they probably just saw MacGyver.
Dude, I love that show.
Yeah, you love everything. Fuck off.
Not everything.
But yeah, supposedly the president of Nigeria the local people in Nigeria seem to think that he died and was cloned and replaced. So they have the money to clone their own president for some stupid reason, but they can't even provide medical care to anybody. I mean, is there
but cloning somebody doesn't reproduce their memories, you know? Cloning somebody is purely physical. It's just, you know, I mean, body, that's all it's going to be. It's still a blank slate.
But we're also
so the guy's still got to have lived as long as he has.
Over how long?
So he must have been cloned at birth, right? So he actually had to get cloned. And how old is he? So it's not only that
75.
The cloning technology in the Sudan, right? There had to be 75-year-old cloning technology in Sudan.
So they were aging.
Where Wakanda is?
I think we're finding the flaw in this argument here now.
dude, if they had vibranium, dude, they'd be able to do it.
The Wakandans done it. Yeah,
the Wakandans with vibranium. The Wakandans with vibranium somewhere near Nigeria. Now we're getting a closer idea where he actually lives.
Hey, what do you think Excalibur was made of?
Steel.
Adamantium.
Adamantium.
Well, Batman. Maybe it was a fusion.
Oh, God.
Wolverine's claws and Cap's.
All I know is it's the crazy bitch throwing swords around.
It's wet some girl lobbed a sword at me. I would call it clean.
Just because
some moistened bint threw a scimitar at me. They'd lock me away.
I just think it's pretty funny that the public actually, I don't know, asked that question to begin with. Hey, Mr. President, are you a clone? What the fuck?
Negative.
Next question. It's got to be a very quick way of losing your head in Nigeria.
It's better than being freaking sold into slavery like they do with freaking all the schoolgirls.
Right, you know that old saying, that old joke saying, a man is as old as the woman he feels. Does that make the average Muslim about 6?
Do you really want the answer to that?
Not really.
Well, that way you never lose your Peter Pan that way, do you?
That's only gay Muslims.
So that's how it happened. It was the fairy dust that started cloning. They captured Tinkerbell and she made a clone that way. She made an exact duplicate. She said they did it with the fairy dust.
So there is another funny story in the news this past week. And this is probably gonna break Memes' heart here. I'm sorry, Memes. I hope you're sitting down. There's no more fapping in Starbucks, all right? You cannot go there, use their Wi-Fi, and watch Pornhub all day. I'm sorry, Memes. You have to stop.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Starbucks is now going to do internet blocking. That way you can no longer go on pornographic websites within their coffee shop using their Wi-Fi. This was a thing? I mean, really? People were just hanging out watching porn in Starbucks? Be honest,
the reason they're doing that, it has nothing to do with people coming into Starbucks. What it has to do is with the employees going in the back room, all right?
Well, how do you think they get the coffee creamer?
That's what the hell was going on. Well, I got a bathroom break. It'll be gone for about 15 minutes. Oh, we'll make it 5. Make it 3.
Yeah. Give me a $2 tip, will you?
Get me a Trente Venti latte, double hot on the espresso with 2 shots of cream.
Why is the cream always warm in this store?
Because it's good. That's how you're supposed to have cream. You lived on a farm.
You don't have more cream on a farm.
Why do the chocolate crumbles taste off?
Oh. Memes, here's something.
I mean, I was just laughing my ass off. To be fair, the Rebel is where I heard this story from, but it's hilarious and really, you're probably right. It probably is the employees, and that That makes me so happy I don't drink coffee. Like, really.
No, all employees need to wash their hands.
Well,
make sure you don't have any cream teas either.
We've only got special people to make sure that the extra frothy freaking ones are sent out.
Do you like the cream buns from there? I hate to tell you this.
No, the brownies are good.
The buttercream scone is delicious today.
Well, that's just fancy.
Have you ever seen Van Wilder?
The cookie sandwich. Oh, Van Wilder, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
He had a really cool dog too.
Oh yeah. It was walking back at the end of the movie though.
Well, yeah, that's just true.
Okay, I don't know how much. I don't know how many more 8th grade jokes we can make on this story.
Like, it means you really want to watch that particular part of that Van Wilder with somebody who's squeamish. It makes it all the funnier.
Well, as long as they sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Story on that too. On the flag.
Oh, did you hear?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
MC.
Yeah, MC. Go ahead and go on to that story then. Okay, we will get to France.
Oh no! It's not a funny thing. It was a frat has been banned on Stanford for flying the American flag.
What?
Because
what?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Stanford University has said that it's a symbol of oppression to some people, so therefore they are not supposed to fly the American flag.
Are they wearing it?
I don't care if they're wearing it or not. The fact that they're
no, the wearing it is dishonorable. We found that out the other day, and we're reminded.
Wearing an actual flag. God, you people.
MC, no. The wearing of the flag of the United States it's not a symbol of oppression. Sorry, not the wearing. The flag of the United States is not a symbol of oppression. The ideals it stands for are definitely not oppressive.
I guarantee you that in Stanford University, they are teaching that it is. Well, I guarantee you that's exactly what they're teaching. That's exactly what these idiots that were kneeling in the NFL and everybody else were doing. That's their goal.
MC, you're making me want to take a road trip. Because this just seems very... Hold on, wait. What fraternity is it?
What difference does it make?
If I happen to be a member of said fraternity, then doesn't that give me somewhat of a fiduciary duty? Even though I haven't donated any money?
Pussy one has said they make undies with the Union Jack on them, right? That's fair enough. But I want to bring out special Brexiteer underwear for men. It's got a picture of Theresa May on them, on the inside at the rear, with the mouth strategically positioned.
I believe that's banned in the UK.
I don't want Theresa May anywhere near my junk.
Theresa May would be near your ass.
No.
Well, it'd still be in proximity.
I just like the idea of shitting in them.
Listen, her being in London is close enough proximity for me, and I'm in Manchester. So.
Yeah. I think when we leave
and that's still too close.
When we leave the UK, we should leave her behind.
No, we should fucking package her up and send her to Brussels. Send her where she wants to be. Fucking bitch.
Yeah, and we can make.
Oh, isn't she going to run for the head of the EU?
No, I think that one's being reserved for Merkel now.
Well,
Merkel's she's about to get kicked out.
Here, Now you'll love this. I'm going to put two links in the chat here. Okay. Now, here's the first link. Okay. Here's link number 1. And this is the one I was just talking about, where the fraternity was told to take down the American flag down to improve its image.
I have heard about this, actually.
Okay. And this is on Breitbart News.
Okay, do they still have the flag flying above the school?
No. Hold on, but I'm not finished. Now they just got done with this one. All right. where they sit up there and we're telling the college Republicans to stop freaking wearing the flag around. All right, and then had to reverse their decision. They just reversed the decision on the American flag last March, and now we're right back into the same controversy again.
I like the flag that they
For
got
the
flag.
same reason. We think the American flag is a symbol of oppression. It's the same thing from these frickin' Ivy League colleges. They need to go. They are trying to teach children, they are trying to teach these college kids that America is bad, America is the problem. And yet these are supposedly the ones that are the brightest amongst us. You know, the Ivy League kind of schools that we're talking about. The ones that everyone talks about, oh, you need to be really bright to get into these schools. Really?
So MC, I just have one question, just because I clicked on.
Well,
that,
maybe you need to be smart to get into
Brad
them, but you're
right
retarded
part.
when you leave.
well, regardless of whatever the outcome is. Well, here's the thing, MC. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the picture. There happens to be a second flag directly under the United States flag. Well, but which flag is that? Is that representative of something? I haven't actually Googled it yet.
No, that's them sending up another flag who basically told them that when they were told to take it down, they said, screw you, come and take it.
Oh, okay. Well, if they don't want to take down their flag because it's a nice flag.
See, okay. An unnamed administrator told the Sigma Chi fraternity that their American flag was a symbol that could be seen as intimidating, aggressive, or alienating.
No.
And that's exactly what they're teaching. And they won't tell you who the administrator was. They won't cause that person to come out and say, why did you do this? Who was telling you this? Were there other university professors who talked you into this? They are hiding this person again. And this comes, like I said, on the heels of in March having to backtrack the first time they got backlash doing this. And then they come right back to the same thing.
This happened before on campus.
Take a look at the other article I posted. Stanford reverses decision to ban use of American flag in college Republicans' new logo.
Huh. Okay. That seems to fare under fair use.
Isn't there some kind of law about being un-American in the States?
No, there's not, actually. That's the problem. There's a lot of people I'd love to see shipped out of the United States.
MC service does not guarantee citizenship.
Unfortunately, no. But non-service should be a bar to it.
That's another discussion.
Like I said in the side chat, I had to step away and check on the fire in the fireplace.
What, you throw the kid? What are your kids made out of wood? Did you just like toss them in there? Is that what your kids really are? They're all just actually string puppets that you like carve like Geppetto?
See, I would well perhaps some wood was but see, I would have went with Cookie.
Sorry,
but he's not a wicked witch. He's a cool sorcerer.
But no, okay, is there an American flag flying over Stanford? And if the answer is yes, then how can they tell a fraternity to take the flag down?
If you don't understand what's going on, I mean, come on, you know what's going on. You got a bunch of freaking leftists that want to sit up there and play this game of saying, well, we feel abused and we feel uncomfortable because of patriotism, because now patriotism is political. The fact that you can be that you love the nation has been turned into politics by who? The left. They have made it into a symbol of oppression.
Once to this, they don't want to fly the American flag. I mean, they don't want to be Americans. So fair enough. Yeah, you don't get American funding.
Well, that's what I would do.
You can't fly the. This is bullshit.
Really? Oh, thank you, memes. I'm glad that I got your permission.
No, but it's like the sheer fact that we're even arguing about this, because at first I saw that come and take it. I'm like, wait a second. Is that like an underground? Is that basically like a heavy I'm like, oh, is that like a malicious symbol for somebody that a group maybe that has been like notorious for trouble or something like that? Or I'm like, is it provocative? And if all they were doing was flying the flag, and then they're like, "We're going to take your flag." You're like, "Fuck that! It's a fucking country."
You guys,
Holy shit! No, take a minute here, MC, and realize you just got memes mad.
Falling off the fence again.
It's a fucking goddamn American flag. Pardon my French, but what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, do you think
what do you think the goal has been? What do you think I've been trying to warn you about who these people are?
This is the result of all of your fucking lily-livered, won't fucking commit to anything. This is exactly the result of what happens because they keep chipping away until they got to the point of someone like you, where even you can get to the point of being offended. I mean, that shows you. I mean, we've been saying it for a long time because we didn't like the where it's coming. It's now arrived on your doorstep, mate. So welcome to the rest of the world.
What do you think their goal has always been?
MC.
The goal of the left has always been the destruction of the country. And I know that you don't want to hear that. I know you're like, oh, you're just being hyperbolic. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm telling you who they actually are. As much as you want to deny who they are, that is who they are. And when you select them as your leaders and your leadership, this is what you get. This is what they push, and they won't stop till they get it. I'm telling you now.
This is what is happening mainly in the southeast of the United Kingdom. There are villages where it is against the local bylaws to fly the English flag.
Oh yes, that's been going on for years.
Yeah, because
of course it doesn't apply when there's an England football match or something like that. If it's a World Cup or something.
Technically,
when there are
a bunch of actual folks around and stuff like that, and you tell them, no, you can't have this thing that you've always had.
There have been people fined during World Cup and football matches for flying the English flag.
Well, screw it, you pay it.
There has even been one of them. I remember because it was in the national theaters.
B is giving me a compliment. She said I broke memes.
No. This really is. It's like, okay, no, in every pretty much classroom. I'm sorry to cut you off, Batman, but I'm just. Oh, you're right.
There was this book. It was during the World Cup, and they got threatened with having their alcohol license removed because they had the England flag on display outside the pub.
I went to Disney this August, and when you walk around the Epcot Center, you literally are visiting the world. You go through basically they have all the flags, this, that, and the other thing, and that's something that's celebrated. It's like, oh my God, there's history, there's culture.
Oh yeah,
maybe we should actually work together and shit like that.
But memes.
I ruined Disney World.
But this is the whole point, right? Because that actually shows diversity, right? That's diversity, right? You want to go to England to have English things. You want to go to Welsh for Welsh things, whatever they are.
Yeah.
You possibly might want to go to France if you want dysentery. But each country has something, and so you go there for that particular thing. And so that is real true diversity. Now, when you try and get everybody and then say we're all going to be homogenous, that is not diversity.
Yeah.
Telling everyone how they have to be and everything else so that everybody acts the same way. Everyone's meant to be turned into, an NPC. That's not diversity by any stretch of the imagination. I don't understand why liberals can't get their head around this concept. They are the most racist. They are the most.
Everybody
it's
can
not just suppression.
Well, of course. Welcome to liberalism. Fuck me.
Here's the thing. No, MC. Here's the thing. I gotta respond to that. Are there some folks out there that want what you said? Sure, of course there are. I would argue with basically the actual percentage of folks. I think most folks just want to live a good life and be left alone for the most part.
Those people that you say, oh, they're not like that, then why did they choose to be represented by them?
Because who's them? because everyone's an individual.
By
Here's
those-
the thing:
those
we can
hard-
assign all whatever we
No,
want,
those-
but it
the-
all
the-
comes
and
boiling
those-
down to the
why-
individual
why
again and
did you-
again.
Memes,
One at a
memes,
time.
memes. It's very simple. Memes. Those people are the ones who are promoting this shit. Who else do you think those people are?
Well, real quick. Okay, I'm gonna piss Cabby off. This is on Breitbart. This is on Breitbart.
Are you calling in French?
Real quick, John Kerry. John Kerry said Brits should submit to EU deal or reignite Northern Ireland terror. Is he calling for the IRA to rise back up from the grave? What the hell's going on?
John Kerry. Well, John Kerry can go fuck himself.
He was the Secretary
Trust me,
of State.
compared to Theresa May, John of our
I-
concerns,
where
our own
did
fucking
he come from, me?
Prime Minister,
I voted for the guy.
our own Prime Minister is working against us. So
Yep.
Kerry is the last of our fucking problems.
Where did he come from, memes?
He's a masshole. I'm not sure if he's originally from here, but he's a masshole.
He's an asshole, all right.
No, he's a
Hey,
man.
no,
He's
dude,
he's
man,
one of the
married
people
into the
that
Heinz
memes.
family. He's-
Well, it goes right
That's
to
it.
what I would say in memes. He's one of those people who's trying to take down the American flag, who has that agenda. All right, and yet you voted for him.
But
I kind of doubt that, but he was very
What do you
boring.
mean you doubt that?
He said he wants to take down the American flag.
Okay.
You see,
No,
this
he
is-
won't.
this is
He
willful
won't.
ignorance.
He won't sit up there and do it in a certain form of public. But you get him by himself.
He's
where
not
he's with
condemning
his-
this incident,
with
therefore he wants to take down the American
not just
flag.
that
And
he's
see,
not
no,
con-
see, this is what we're
Is
disagreeing
that the
on.
only thing
Are
that
there
he's
some
done?
folks
Is
that
that
want to
the
see it
only
overthrown?
thing? Hold on a
Sure.
second, memes. Is that the only thing that he's done? That
Well,
he hasn't
yes.
said it?
Other things have been done. Words have been said. Yes, I
Okay.
understand.
What else has he done that's anti-American?
You see?
Many people disagree
I mean,
upon
you're
many
such a
controversial
spineless little
topics.
fucker.
It's not a
especially
matter of
considering
many
you meant to have
people
an
agree on
exoskeleton like a dragon.
controversial topics. You try to sit up there and ignore the character of the
Fuck you know.
and you said no problem. I'll go ahead and vote for him. So here's the question, memes.
It is.
Why did you vote for him?
He wasn't George W. Bush.
Willful
Oh,
ignorance.
So that's the reason.
Because George W. Bush was the worst person in the world. And if you want to actually know why I voted
You
for him,
want-
I'm like,
you
oh,
want-
he actually
you
seems
think-
like a
you
diplomat.
think-
Maybe we'll be able to get along with the rest of the
You
world a little
think-
better.
You
That was
think-
one of the primary factors.
You think that
He was a homeboy.
You think that freaking George W. Bush was the worst person in the world, and you compare him to Kerry and go, well, he was going to get along with the rest of the world as Secretary of State? How did he get along with the rest of the world?
MC, would
Exactly.
you
I mean,
know
well, put it this way.
influencing
Hey,
things-
listen. He's not gonna unite the world because he just pissed me off. So he's already
Yep.
one down.
Well,
One minute.
how was he going about trying to sit up there and unite
There we
the
go.
world?
2 down.
Right?
Wait,
By
what?
walking around apologizing for America, by taking his cues from his boss, who basically said, slight America at every opportunity, make sure whatever deal you make with Iran is the worst deal ever.
It looks like you just pissed
I
Gerardi
disagree.
off.
Well, it's probably the hang up button
I-
she's on her cell phone.
I
But
disagree.
MC, you just have that way with women.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a low
You
blow.
said
I shouldn't
this was
say
a
that.
This was a great deal. The Iranian
You actually,
deal was
you
a
actually
great
have a significant other, and but
Hey,
sorry,
Francis
yeah,
Burnham.
Mom,
Yeah, well, anyway, you see, no, but memes, this is exactly what happens when people fluff around, fart about, act spineless, pretend that these things aren't happening, or justify them, or have selective interpretation of them, and they spend all their time going on about fucking wizards and shit like that, So this is the result. This is what you get.
Well, here's the thing. I still think a lot of more folks than you think actually like wizards. And number two, with all this shit, it's like, no, you actually need to work on problems. If you just simply say, all right, let's hey, we're a Republican, let's lower this by 2%, we're in, or I'm a Democrat, or we're gonna raise this 2% in this area. It's like, All right. Are you actually solving the problem, or are you simply managing a problem?
How would you know?
Those are two very different things.
How do you know if you're going to solve the problem when you have a press that will always claim that they're not trying to solve the problem, that they're trying to damage everything, and then the others, and then when the other side comes in there says, "Oh, there's no problem here. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Who cares about the criminality?" How are you going to get past that, Memes?
Well, you got to go to politics. Politics is always local.
I'm not talking politics.
Oh,
Dude.
You got to keep people honest and stuff, and the folks that actually live in the different areas will probably have the best idea about what's going on.
Your way of keeping people honest is to sit up there and talk about how much better Kerry is as a human being than George W. Bush. Well done.
I never said that.
You
I
said
thought
George
Kerry would have
Bush
better
was
policy.
the worst president ever.
No. What I said is at that time,
there's a few
George
others.
Bush was the worst person in the world. No, MD. We're the same age, brother. So like, you remember when we were growing up, it's like just the image of George W. Bush, like after like during the whole Iraq war
What
thing.
was that word?
What's that?
Say that word again.
Which word?
The
word
image.
You just said. Image. Exactly.
Yes.
And who crafted that image?
MC. Here's the thing.
No. The thing is that you let them craft it
via the media,
and then you sit up there and ignored your responsibility as a voting citizen and as an adult to realize how much bullshit that was.
Hey, it was my first time. Well, here's the thing, MC. No. Here's the thing. I go back. I am acknowledging. I'm just telling you what was going on at the time. I'm telling you what I did. You can feel free to disagree with what I did. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm trying to recognize what was going on. So over the years, like I said, I voted for John Kerry back in the day. And you know what? I thought I was going to win. And then Florida came back, and it didn't happen. And then my first actual victory was President Donald Trump. These things happen, I guess. But no. All I'm saying, just with all of this, it's like, media needs to have a certain level of accountability because people losing faith in the media, and that's a fucking problem. It's actually supposed to be what, the fifth estate?
Has to happen.
Well, no, it has to happen. And here's the thing: what type of level of responsibility do we want the press to have? If they publish something and it ends up being incorrect, like no, like MC, like if they air it. If they air it on a show and they get something incorrect, rather than doing just a random thing at another point, should that be literally the whole, like, at least the intro to the show? Listen, this is this program. We brought to you this. This is a correction. This is what actually happened. We're sorry. Just because I think, like, it would prevent folks from jumping on stuff because, like, what's this? Another thing with, like, Donald Trump Jr. Oh, we got him on this. And what actually happens? Like, no, he's a real estate dude. He runs many different deals.
That's not what happened. The issue is that they claimed that he lied to Congress under oath. But if they had bothered to keep the conversation in context, something they intentionally didn't want to do, okay, you would have realized that what they were talking about was an entirely different deal rather than the one that they were claiming, that they claimed, all right, was being referred to, and therefore he lied under oath. Okay, because there was multiple deals.
Something else in context.
There was multiple deals going on simultaneously, around the same frame. So basically, they took something intentionally out of context to claim that there was a lie. They got called out for it. Now, they didn't catch it themselves. And they didn't even admit to it. Not only did they put it out there, they sit up there and it was all over Twitter. And what was it done? It was picked up by every one of the other mainstream media networks that knew it was a lie, that could have easily have checked it as well and did, but threw it out there. And what did they say? Well, from the NPR report, so that they could cover themselves, so they didn't have to sit up there and print the retraction. So even hold on here, Memes. So even though NPR has printed a retraction, the fact that these other outlets, which is where people read it from, where they get their news from instead of NPR, they'll never hear that retraction. You know why? Because it'll never be printed in their papers that the NPR had to walk this back. And this is MC. They get one of the techniques they use to get their intentional lies out there. And they go around, if you noticed, one day it'll be MSNBC that does this, and then the next day it'll be CBS that does this. And you know when it's coming, because all you'll have to do is CBS is reporting this, CNN is reporting this, all right? NPR is reporting this. As soon as you see them say, well, NPR is reporting this, you know the next statements are most likely a lie created by them to sit up there and try and justify some narrative that they're pushing. All right. And that when people actually investigate it, it'll be proven as a lie, but they don't have to print a retraction. They've done it multiple times.
So MC, let's take what happened and let's run under the universe that happens. Every place that reported that then went on at whenever they reported that or whatever makes sense prime time, and basically publicly apologize and state what actually happened.
Okay, now
how are you going
to get them to do that?
That's a very good question. Should it be a journalistic culture thing?
Very good question. It's not going to happen.
I mean, you could do legislation, but you should be very wary with legislation.
What do you mean legislation? What legislation are you doing? They're going to sit up there and come back. I didn't lie, and technically, they could make that claim. They didn't lie. It wasn't them. They were reporting it was from this group.
Well, here's the thing, MC. Like, what's the press?
What do you mean? What's the press? What's the mainstream media?
Are they the press?
They're part of the press.
Are we the press?
Yes, we're part of the press as well.
Okay. So, why can they say things that might be lies, and we can't say things that might be true?
The same
might be lies.
Because the same people, okay, who run this channel, the same people are dealing with this, are also the same ones, memes, all right, that are banning us, that are limiting us and keeping us down. It's the same left-wing attitude, and they got away with it, and they get away with it because there's people who keep looking for the middle rather than going, these guys are truly bad.
But MC, is that like, I don't know, like, are we the media? We're just like really small. We're just shooting the shit about like things on the internet and putting like stories and ideas out there and trying to show our sources and stuff. Is this the public?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a public forum. Anyone can sit up there and have access to this, unless MADDS has put it in a limited state, right?
Oh, well, no. I think you can make it 18 plus, so you can age gate it, which means that somebody basically has to sign it.
But it's still
once you sign it.
But it's still public.
Well, yeah, and until we curse far too often. No, but the reason why I asked is like, well, actually, last week when I clipped out that interview from Patrick Little, like I think it's still in limited state, or it's in a limited state. Like, but there's no views, you can't interact with it, and when you click on it, it gives you like a prompt saying it's like, oh, this has been flagged. I appealed it, but they denied it. But
that's funny because the source comes from me, and I'm not in limited state at all. You can go to
no. But MD, here's the very interesting thing. California is only one of 2 states as far as any form of employment or something like that is concerned. Like, they're one of the few states that has political ideology as a protected class.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some lawsuits tried to go down that road and they all failed.
I mean, it technically is for direct employment, but could one say if I don't know, if getting your image out there, if essentially getting clicks and notoriety, I mean, if somebody is monetizing that, could that not be a potential loss? I understand that'd be incredibly hard to prove, but it also just doesn't look good. And just, although to be fair, 40s was limited stated, but then it got overrode, so I think you can interact with it now. However, the interesting thing on mine is probably the context of when the person went back to review it. 40 had like about 15 seconds before Mr. Little joined. Mine cuts in with Vash just saying, "And Zionism." Patrick Little has appeared.
That is good timing. Okay, so I was looking at Breitbart while you guys were going back and forth. 80-year-old woman killed in France. She got hit directly in the face with a tear gas canister. That's a bad day. How long is Paris gonna burn? Do you guys think?
I don't know, man. Remember the French Revolution?
Yeah, that's. I was talking about Macron the other day, and like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
know. Remember the French Revolution? Like, I think their inner French is really coming out. We're seeing what happens when the people of France are pissed.
Oh, I think everybody remembers that. I'm just waiting for the unfortunate meme of
if I can answer your question, Mad, if I could get my hands on a crop dusting plane full the tanks with kerosene, it would burn for a very long time. I'm sorry.
Oh, better idea. Dust the whole city of Paris with LSD and watch them all just really wig out. Anyway, moving on.
There was a bread truck in Germany once where I think the bread got rotten and folks literally started to kind of go into zombie mode.
Actually, no, I think we'd better dust the whole city with PCP.
Let's not launch chemical attacks against frickin'
oh God,
Paris.
No. You dust all the Muslim areas with ecstasy, and the rest of Paris with PCP.
No,
no, love, peace.
That's not how this works, Batman. This isn't Fallout 76.
Sorry.
Oh no. Here's what you do. What were we talking about?
Here's what we do. Oh, I love to hear this, memes.
Yeah.
Here's what we do. You've got a solution. I love it. You finally got a solution to something. Come on. I know you.
Oh, I have a solution. I just forgot what we were talking about.
Paris.
That's pretty fucking helpful.
Pre-Paris.
Paris is burning. You've got a solution to stop it. Let's hear it.
Oh. You sure?
Okay, I got a solution. You bust out the old guillotine and you bring Macron outside and hand him to the crowd. And let's see how long until we use the guillotine.
The guillotine.
Yeah, but you feed him into it slowly, like from the feet upwards.
That's cruel and unusual. And here's the thing: like the terrible thing.
Sliced macaron sandwich sounds like it could be a real thing.
He just feels like a meat slicer.
MC, that is not allowed under the Geneva Convention.
Oh, screw
That's also a salami, though. But well. Oh God, we're terrible. But
no, actually, you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't use ability. My favorite method: death by trick.
The next time you come up with a solution, let me know. Because your solutions are awesome.
Tiger Lily in the chat says, "Let them eat cake."
Well, Marie Antoinette said that. What is Macron saying? Let them ride the bus.
Yeah. We have great public transit here.
Oh, dude, that would be a terrible thing because it would seem so accurate.
I am like Jupiter. I am like I am the king of the gods.
Let them eat cake. Let them ride bus.
I bet in private there, Macron does dress like Marie Antoinette anyway. I mean, he's just a Justin Trudeau wannabe, isn't he?
You probably got to see if you've got videos of them basically doing the goat dance.
Yep.
So
is that like the safety dance?
Fuel prices are about $8 a gallon. That's why they're flipping out, is over fuel prices. Remember when the price of gas here jumped up to like $7 or almost $8 a gallon? I remember.
That never happened. That never happened.
Can I address the chat for a second? Tiger Lily saying, let them burn. I disagree. That's a horrible idea, Tiger Lily. They're our neighbours. We should help them burn.
Only in controlled areas if you're cooking.
They might put themselves out otherwise.
Only for tailgating.
Yeah, it's like that old song that Paris is burning, fetch marshmallows, fetch marshmallows.
Stoke up the kerosene, let them burn.
By the way, Queen of the South.
No more genocidal songs.
Not guillotine, and I knew that. That's why I said guillotine the way I said it.
Oh, it's guillotine.
Yeah, I know. Madaj said guillotine first, so
Yeah.
I always say guillotine because I'm not French.
yeah, just like I pronounce jalapenos, jalapenos.
Well, that's okay. It's kind of kinky, but as long as we can agree, chowder.
Kinky.
Chowder.
Calling something jalapenos is kinky?
Chowder.
Yeah, this is MC. This is memes we're talking about here.
Just say, man, I didn't mean to make you give you a rise there.
I mean,
what, you don't like jalapenos?
MC, you've got to admit,
I love jalapenos.
MC,
Oh,
you've got to admit, was mean. Yeah, zip up boots.
You got a bad in from Starbucks.
I'm usually a Dunkin's guy, but it's like America runs on Dunkin'. But Starbucks, it's strong coffee. I'll give it that.
That's not coffee.
You just need to get up and go.
It's not coffee memes. You're not getting coffee at Starbucks.
He's working on the creamer now.
It's brown, but it's not coffee.
Which Starbucks do you go to?
When it comes to the
You missed the earlier part where we were talking about the Starbucks banning Pornhub.
Yep, I was there.
No, I caught it, and I think you were right. It's not the people going into Starbucks; it's their fucking employees.
Yeah.
Like they're deadbeats that can't afford the internet at home, so after work or on break, they're fucking taking their tablet to the bathroom and cranking one out.
Even funny.
Are you saying the internet's a luxury?
Yeah, I am.
It would be even funnier if there was deadbeats sitting outside of Starbucks hacking into their internet.
We got a little spooge for your window washing. Just hold on, sir.
Oh, wait a second. Can't you just chill in Starbucks for like whenever now or something?
Oh my god, memes. Stick with the program.
I'm here.
Okay, I just found a really weird story.
On target.
Okay, Brett Favre, Andy Dick are both tricked into recording anti-Semitic conspiracy videos. Okay.
Well, I just want to say, Brett Favre would not be that hard to trick, so I'll believe that one. Now, Andy Dick, I don't know.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. Former legendary NFL quarterback Brett Favre, hip-hop star Soulja Boy, and actor-comedian Andy Dick were recently duped into recording videos coded with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories using Cameo, an app which facilitates the purchase of personalized messages from celebrities. The white supremacist group Goyim Defense League, founded by YouTubers Sway Guevara and Handsome Truth, put up the funds for the videos. So yeah, they were fucking tricked by YouTubers.
You might want to be careful about the music in the background there, because you know what they're like for jumping on things like that these days.
Yeah, you probably already got your entire stream monetized by somebody else, but it's cool. It's really easy to remove songs. I can show you how to do it if you don't know how.
Well, no, he made someone else.
The kids are watching a cartoon in the background. It shouldn't be that much big of an issue, but we'll see. It is Disney, so yeah.
You're fucked.
People be less.
Let it go.
Yes, let that coffee go.
But no, seriously, Brett Favre and Andy Dick got tricked by a couple of racist YouTubers. That's weird.
Once again, I'm not surprised.
Andy Dick is a Jew, right? How the fuck did he get tricked into doing something anti-Semitic?
He's a collaborator.
Hey, motherfucking George Soros.
He's a Soros wannabe.
George Soros.
I mean, they got to out him first, right?
From what you read, the only problem I take with that article, I mean, the fact that they got tricked doesn't surprise me. It's that they said that Brett Favre's a former legendary quarterback. I'm pretty sure he's still a legendary quarterback. He's just too old to play now.
Yeah.
Oh, did any of you
He's
see
a good quarterback.
The toddler who was bitten 15 times by some 3-year-old Somali kids?
I didn't really read an article on that. If you did, then go ahead and explain it a little bit better.
I've linked it in the chat there. Well, do you want to present me?
I'm sure if you want to read it off for a little bit. Here you go.
I'll try. Right. The headline is it's like she's been savaged by a dog. Toddler is scarred for life with 15 bites on her face and neck after children attack her at soft play centre. Willow Ivy Doherty, or Irish name, was on a day out, and her mother Becky, brother and sister, with her mother, brother. Single mother of 6 heard parents scream, "Oh my God, whose baby is this?" 17-month-old was bitten by other children and needed urgent hospital jabs. He was witnessed the incident, the email reported. But anyway, a toddler was left scarred for life after being bitten 15 times by other children on a day out at a soft play centre. Willow Ivy, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name again, 17 months, was playing with her brother Tucker. 6.
The name is Doherty.
It might be, but I'm not pronouncing it again.
Anyway.
And sister Aurora, 3. At the Little Bees Soft Play Centre in Seacroft, Leeds on November the 2nd, when disaster struck. Suddenly her mother, Becky, heard another parent scream, "Oh my God, whose baby is this?" The mother was forced to pull a little boy off Willow's neck. When it emerged, she had 15 bite marks all over her body. Now you can see the pictures.
I don't know, that one of those there on the left looks like it's probably an infection.
Apparently they're all bites, but
that looks like ringworm, not bite marks.
No, those look like bite marks.
No, the one on the left. The other ones look like bite marks.
Apparently they're all bite marks. But the single mother of 6 claims her daughter was blue, and the youngster had a big smile on his face and blood all around his mouth. She believes the boy was 2 and was with a 4-year-old who was apparently his brother. Becky told the newspaper she looks like she's being savaged by a dog, not a child. He eventually found the mother of the children, who claimed, "That's what little kids do. That's what kids do."
No, they don't.
That never happened when I was a kid. That age.
I was going to say, what level of inbreeding does it take for your kids to be cannibals at the age of 2?
She was Willow Ivy was taken to hospital where she was given an urgent injection for hepatitis B and treatment for her cuts. She will also require a skin graft on her face. Doctors believe Willow Ivy's 15 bites came from 2 different children and have left angry red marks all over her body. The youngster still needs more injections to ensure she has not contracted anything from the bites, which cover her face, back, and limbs. In total, she has 4 on her face, 2 on her fingers, 3 on her back, 1 on her ear, shoulder, wrist, leg, and others on her head. A spokesman for the Little Bees told the Mirror, "We are not a nursery. The children need parental supervision." That's no fucking excuse. West Yorkshire Police spokesman told Mail Online, police received a report of a 17-month-old child having been bitten by a 3-year-old child at an indoor soft play area in Seacroft on Friday. The child was treated at hospital and an assault occasioning actual bodily harm was recorded. Oh shit. Social services referral was made in relation to the suspect child, and the crime has been finalised due to them being under the age of criminal responsibility.
Well, no shit.
Then the parents should be up for it.
Yeah. Well, so neither of them were actually watching their fucking kids, which is a pretty good point they make, right? Like, I'm guessing a soft play center is basically like an indoor playground or some shit.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, parents can't watch kids 24/7, even at a place like that. That's why the staff there as well. So the staff should also be keeping an eye on the kid.
Okay, so maybe I actually don't know what kind of place. I mean, I was just thinking a playground that was indoors and like the staff's
pretty
not
much
really there to do anything.
Like,
because in an actual playground, yeah, you gotta fucking watch your kids at all time.
Well,
man.
how much staff do you have? I mean, was that the equivalent? Because is there parental responsibility, or is it
do they have signs up saying it is not our staff's job to watch your kids? Please keep an eye on your child at all times. Like if it's just said that straight up.
What's the staff there for?
Yeah. Exactly.
What is the staff there to do? Honestly.
Right, to my mind, it's not to be there to watch the kids as well as the parents are.
I mean, their job
Well,
is
no,
to
and what-
like clean up shit, not watch the kids. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but what I'm thinking though is even if it's not their fucking job, that's 15 bites on this child. You're telling me she wasn't crying after bite number 1?
No, but what happens? Here's the thing. You also have to consider, and this is a terrible thing to say, but like, why if the staff intervenes, what happens to the staff?
Yeah. The thing is, what I've read in other places about this, the reason she was turning blue is because the kid who was pulled off was also throttling her.
What the fuck? So you've got a little fucking Chucky running around your soft play series up there.
2.
Couple of them, couple Chuckies.
Yeah. But this didn't happen when I was a kid. I mean, if it did, it would have been all over the place. Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's always been fucked up kids that do fucked up shit, man. Like, but
not like that.
No, those kids should have been talked to. That's putting it nicely, by their parents.
really, because if they were dogs back in my day, we'd just take them out in the backyard and put a 12
I
gauge
said
in them.
that was putting it nicely.
The thing is, to my mind, if they're like that as kids, what they're going to be like when they become adults?
Assholes.
Well, a wise man once said you want to try to get your kids socialized by the time they're 4, or else.
I know.
Great methodology of socializing, isn't it?
I have to consult the professor.
Yeah,
This is
well,
how you
means I
socialize?
would have beat the living hell out of you.
Does it say in the video? Does anyone want to take a guess of the ethnic origin of these children?
It does say.
Yeah,
It
they
does.
were Somalis.
Oh, great.
Yeah, from the
It's
It's a
pirate.
war zone.
Yeah, and they actually do
The
practice
kind of
killing
people they
okay.
imported in because they're just refugees.
Because it's a war zone.
Because
you think these Somali children that are 3 and 2 are acting this way because they grew up in a war zone?
I have no idea.
Yeah, or because that's the way they're brought up. I don't know.
I think it has more to do with the way they're brought up than it has anything to do with being in a war zone, dude.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely
Speculation.
No, come on. That's excuse making. It's not speculation. It's excuse making. Memes.
MC, I gave you the flag.
you go to other schools in the UK and Europe, and I suspect possibly in high Muslim areas in the United States and Canada, and non-Muslim kids get bullied by Muslim kids because they're not Muslims.
Well, yeah. I just want to say, like, at the very least, the cultural upbringing of these 2 children were probably much different than that native child's upbringing.
Yep. Yeah, the native child was brought up. These weren't. I mean, how does she feed them when she gets home? Does she just toss a fucking raw steak onto the floor?
Just like good parents down there, just like, I might not be alive for too long. You need to learn to survive for yourself. If that means eating other children, have at it.
That's what we've done it.
Well, look at the statement that was just made there. It's just like, all right, if you get some kids from a war zone and you get 2 dudes, little boys like to roughhouse and stuff like that. If you got a little girl, maybe they don't roughhouse as much, and all of a sudden it's like, this is not play. This is attempted murder at this point.
1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old. That is not going to be something that they're going to be learned. They're going to learn that in a war zone. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure you learn no fighting at like 1 year old.
The age they're more than likely to have been born in the UK.
There are also
they're
kids that have different disabilities and stuff like that. And sometimes I may or may not have been around certain folks there. You can expect a kid to try to bite you, spit on you, or whatever.
That you fed.
Like I said, I don't know.
That's what you said. The kid needs a fucking pard wrangler around the entire time. You can't just let one of those out in the wild.
Well, no, they have places for that.
Yeah, it's called.
They want to get folks help.
Yeah, the place.
I just want to say, the race of the child is less important to me. I just fucking hate children in general. So I just want, For Mad Dog to say I'm an equal opportunity child hater, which I don't think child is a protected class.
Memes, they do have places. They do have places of those that kids like that memes. They're called wildlife parks.
All right.
No, that was Mowgli.
Zoos.
Zoo, yeah.
Circuses. Oh, that's right. They banned the circus.
I don't see how exactly these two kids were able to bite this other child 15 times before they were finally caught.
That's what gets me.
Quick bites, dude. Quick bites. The mouth is strong.
Yeah,
it's long to take a bite out of somebody.
Yeah, and then again, you know,
little girl, she's just laying there crying.
God, you have kids.
You know how quick
All
kids are.
kids are mean little shits.
My kids don't bite.
Really? You are one lucky little person.
You are. Kids bite.
I've no, yeah.
But not to that extent, generally. Not nearly.
No. Not to that extent. But the fact is that they bite until they're told, in no uncertain terms, normally with a swat on the ass, not to do that kind of stuff. That kind of activity is bad, and you stop it real early on, long before they're freaking 3.
Long before they start interacting with other kids, generally.
So
and then they start punching.
Well, or pinching. When they learn how to pinch, that's another one.
Yeah, it's usually boys punch, girls pinch.
My girl punched and kicked.
I did say usually.
Well, let's just hope that this other little girl didn't get the zombie virus. All right.
Oh, shit.
So what if she did? The government will have somebody to study then, and then Quinn will be able to have somebody to play with.
Yeah, I told you, Sharati.
There was the problem. She was visiting Quinn, and Quinn was trying to indoctrinate her early.
Sharati, I've told you, Simon Pegg doesn't want anything to do with Quinn anymore, not after he tried to take that bite out of him when he went to visit him in the shed.
Touche.
I thought that was a movie.
Turtle.
I like turtles.
Batman, you're not funny.
Why am I laughing then?
Anyway, so we all agree that news article was the intro to 28 Days Later.
Yeah. You got my vote on that.
Rage zombies are scary.
Yeah, they're not actually zombies. They're
not as frightening as wage zombies, though.
What?
I just thought I'd put that in there.
Thank you.
So,
of course, meme says what?
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like the Ukrainian problem's ramping up a little bit. From a short video that I caught earlier, Russia has moved a nuclear sub into the area, so that's a little bit of an escalation.
Look, no, dude, hold on, dude, man. I've been watching CNN. Putin and Trump are best buddies. You got nothing to worry about, man. Russia's got us in their pocket. They ain't gonna do nothing.
So Russia strategically moved a nuclear submarine where?
Off the coast of Ukraine, or whatever. I mean,
Crimea.
Yeah, where they captured the Ukrainian the 3 ships.
So Azov.
So they're defending territory that is occupied by majority Russians now.
Well, they've claimed that territory, and now they're saying it's theirs.
Didn't the people vote on it?
Okay. Oregon votes to leave the Union. MC's still gonna nuke me.
Well, we have we have the Constitution. I'm not familiar with the Ukrainian Constitution.
The Ukrainian government is saying that Russia illegally stole their territory, and they're not backing down on that.
I may or may not remember Vladimir Putin saying something along the lines of, "What? There are no patches on those young men's uniforms or anything. They're just out for the weekend." And then they were chilling in Crimea.
They're just guys having fun.
And there was also a commercial airliner that was shot down. When you hear the radio, it's like, wait, that was a commercial? They're like, don't they know this is a war zone?
Well, it's a war zone now.
Russia sacked Crimea, and nobody did anything about it except, well, people died.
Yeah.
And on to the next subject.
And does Russia have territorial claims to that?
They're there.
Yeah.
Do they have a historical claim to that?
Yeah, it used to be.
I thought it was like
Soviet
90%
Empire.
ethnically folks that like identified as Russian and ancestrally.
Okay, so you basically have a situation where when the Soviet Union broke up, they made arbitrary borders, and the result is those arbitrary borders aren't going to stand. And one way or another, this is going to get resolved. Does the United States have any business whatsoever siding with anybody in this conflict?
Oh, absolutely not.
Then what's going to happen is what's going to happen. It's going to have to be between them. Yes, it would be nice. You can wish all you want for it to be resolved peacefully. It doesn't look like it's going to get resolved peacefully, but we still, just because it's not being peaceful, doesn't mean that we need to get involved in any way, shape, or form.
What?
We have no dog in that fight whatsoever.
But MC, strategically, doesn't it move potential Russian ICBMs 325 miles closer to the contiguous United States of America?
What's the difference between an ICBM can reach us no matter where it is? What difference does that make?
I know.
Well, it's so big they also deployed a nuclear sub, and they've been snooping around a little bit. Apparently not. But, well, I was saying, just because I looked at that before, I'm like, what is the...
They pulled a nuclear sub in there because a nuclear sub, when they hear people talk about moving a nuclear sub, what they're referring to is that it's nuclear powered, which means it can sit under the water for long periods of time. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's a boomer or that it has nuclear tipped missiles. It might not. All right. The most likely scenario is that this is one of their attack subs, and that if they need to launch a few cruise missiles from their subs, they will do so. That's what it's there for. All right. Nothing else.
I wonder if we can borrow it to deal with the immigrants crossing.
Well, I was referring to the one putzing around New Jersey about a year or two ago.
They do a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of times the subs will go in different areas. We stuck a not just a nuclear sub, but a frickin' boomer. All right, in Korea, we actually docked it temporarily in South Korea when Trump was making all those comments about Little Rocket Man. And so, what was the result? Now that one was a little bit different because that was a boomer. That was a sub that's meant to launch nuclear tipped missiles. Okay,
well, you show you're serious. I mean, if what's
all right, but in this case, you got to remember that a lot of the missile silos that were created, there were a number that were in the Ukraine and are under Ukrainian control. The Ukrainians have nukes as well. People forget this. That theoretically they turned them all in, but who believes that that actually happened?
Real quick, I don't want to say this for certain because it was a while since I read the news article. And yes, I have a map up so that I remember all these places, but I'm pretty sure Russia's main interest is to stop having conflicts at the Strait of Kerch, right? Like if they control Crimea, then commerce through that area is
they want a warm water port.
Yep. They also are trying to get a good reputation on the world stage.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question. Ukraine falls. What's the Europeans going to do about it? They don't want Russia moving closer to their borders.
They're not going to do anything. They're freaking cowards.
Yes, they are. And I'm not a European.
I don't think the Ukraine's going to just fall. Maybe they'll have new leaders and stuff, but I don't think it's going to fall right now.
Okay.
Yeah, what would happen is all the European countries would be like, "Where's America's army to protect us?"
Let's talk about this for a second. All right. First of all, we're calling Ukraine, all right, as if it is a nation state and has been for a long time, but it hasn't been. How long has the Ukraine existed? Was there ever a Ukrainian state? Was there ever a Ukrainian nation? When
When
was the
was
last
there-
time?
MC,
When was
I
the
have to
official-
interject.
when was
The
the official
Ukraine is
fall?
strong.
Real quick, when was the official fall of the Soviet Union?
Basically, the Soviet Union broke up in 1990. If I'm not
Then there's your answer. Ukraine was formed in 1990.
okay. My question though is that enough time to develop a true nation state? There are ethnicities that are involved in this. I don't disagree with you. All right. But has it ever been a nation state?
I don't know, man. My wrist board says so.
Not really. It's basically been, yeah. Everybody's had a bit of the Ukraine in Eastern Europe.
So it hasn't been. At most at any point in time, it's been like a principality, ruled under serfdoms and things like that.
Yeah.
It has. In other words, it's a new nation that has a long ways to go, and it's in a dispute right now with, for all intents and purposes, a very old nation, a nation that has been around for an extraordinarily long period of time.
This is true.
So where are the claims coming from? How is this all going to flesh out? To be honest, I don't know. Would I like to see things get resolved peaceably? Of course. Do I believe that's going to happen? I don't believe it in it for a second. Why? Because of the type of personalities that you're dealing with and the cultural realities of what that is. And the only way that the Ukrainians are actually going to be able to succeed in a fight that's coming, right? And it is coming, is if they get outside help. The only nations that can give them outside help in any kind of realistic manner, all right, to any significant degree, are going to be the Western nations. Because you know as well as I do, the Arab nations are not going to get involved. All right. So therefore, what's left? All right. China. Is China going to help the Ukraine? China would be foolish to help the Ukrainians, right? Because if they do, they antagonize somebody that has an extended long border with them, something that they're not going to want to do. So the only people who can actually help them, all right, are people in the West, the Western Europeans. And the Western Europeans will not help. So all they're going to do
can't even help themselves.
Exactly. So all they're going to do is kibitz, and their kibitzing can only make things worse because it can give false hope at best that, oh, well, maybe they'll intervene at some time when everybody and God knows that there's no freaking way that they're ever going to intervene.
So first off, MC, I have no idea what kibitzing means. Number two,
I'm in agreement with the int junk in the chat there. He says,
What did he say?
Okay. Sorry.
Batman, what did he say? Ain't Jack said, and then there was silence.
Oh my God, he's a doppelganger. He lagged out at the exact worst moment. Hashtag net neutrality.
Ain't Jack said they did a decent job of splitting Eastern Europe along ethnic lines, something we should have done in the Middle East. Well, not really. All right. The one thing that you got to remember is they started to recognize countries that were nation states before. Estonia, Lithuania, those were all Baltic nation states prior to the Soviet annexation of them. Mm-hmm. All right. So they had nation state status. The Ukraine is something different. The Ukraine, as far as it has never been a nation state like the Lithuanians and the Estonians and the Latvians. All right. So you have a different mentality involved in it. Now, by breaking it back up along those original lines, yeah, that makes sense. The problem is with the Ukraine, there are no original lines. So everything was done arbitrarily.
Yeah, because
MC, you're starting to terrify the children. Because I'm just going back to that Simpsons episode where all of a sudden at the UN, the representative just starts going, turns it around. It's like USSR. All of a sudden, Lenin rises from the grave as zombie Lenin, and terror ensued.
I mean, my only takeaway from this is it never ceases to amaze me the fallout we're still having from the breakup of the Soviet Union.
Big Fat Brian's got a question for you, MC. Does sharing a border even matter in modern warfare? I would say yes.
Sharing a border matter? Yeah, it does. All right. I mean, that's where you're looking out toward the enemy. It's your nation, it's your sovereign territory, and that's what you're saying. Is that you're saying, okay, this is my sovereign territory, and what you have going on right now is two groups fighting over that exact purpose. We draw the border here, you draw the border on this side of the line, and we're saying, no, you got to go back to your side of the line, and there's nobody that's going to play freaking referee saying, okay, well, we're going to split it in half. That's not what's going to happen here. No one else is going to be involved.
What was that squeak?
I don't know.
She already disappeared. She was being drained through the portal due to net neutrality.
Ninja.
The sharing a border matter in modern warfare. All right. What is it you're actually asking? Are you asking from a logistical standpoint in the ability to project power over a border? Does it matter? If that's your question, Brian, then the answer is yes, it does. Because while air power can easily, breach a border and go over once from one side to the other very easily, it's in order to take land and hold it, you need to put in ground forces, and ground forces, all right, have to go over the lines. They've got to go over land. Does that make sense, Brian?
Yeah, it's most advantageous, most preferable to have your enemy on the other side of the fucking planet.
Well, I don't know if that's what Big Fat Brian was actually asking, or not, but I'm trying. And
we buffered.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's buffering for me too.
Looks good for me, bro.
That's all, folks.
Here. No, I'm like, I got the stream open on my other screen. We're good. Just keep talking.
It's come back now, so we're good.
That was your internet node.
Damn YouTube. But no, I don't know. Isn't that part of the reason why the European Union would like a European military? That way they can project power and maybe
they want
places like the Ukraine.
They want a European military so they can bully member states.
Yeah, they want to turn into the federal government of the United States of Europe.
Like the
well, that's fine if they vote on it.
Excel, it's more like the United Soviet Socialists of Europe.
I mean, we're not that far away from there, man. Just saying.
Well, if Europe wants to do a United States of Europe, they can do that, but the folks need to vote on it.
Christ, if you look at the country, it'll never work because United Europe can never work because of the conflicts within Europe, historical conflicts, old hatreds, rivalries, enmities. And you got Germany up there, which wants to be an industrial powerhouse. You've got France there, which tells stories about how good France is.
Well, yeah,
and then you've got Spain, which is basically the European third world.
Yeah, the EU's already left the idea, though, of being what the federal government of the United States was supposed to be, which is just a joint protection and like trade deal between states. There was a little bit more to it, but it's, I mean, that's the, it was supposed to be limited. The European Union's already trying to pass like what's fucking speech resolutions and fucking copyright resolutions, right? Like they're trying to exercise all sorts of extracurricular bullshit on their member states.
I don't think they're trying to do it; they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
And so far the member states have been acquiescing to it.
So let me ask you this: how's it going?
As far as what?
Isn't part of Paris on fire?
Yeah. Populist uprisings in Germany and Europe and Britain. Britain tried to leave the EU and their government won't let them.
The thing is that the more that the EU tries to tighten the grip, the more the nationalist sentiment is turning up.
I know. People that say horseshoe theory is bullshit, they're wrong. It's completely fucking true.
The EU, to me, it's like the political version of trying to hold water in your hand. Yeah, it's just
well, Batman, going on what you just said there, it's like all right, like what's the point? It's like, what do we must do? We must prevent the rise of the Nazis. We must prevent like National Socialists from coming back. It's like, all right, so what are you doing? All right, we're doing a bunch of things that are pissing off a lot of folks that may naturally hold certain viewpoints and stuff. Like, hey, listen, if you're trying to create the Fourth Reich, it's like you seem to be doing a pretty good job of it. Just because
we're not trying to create the Fourth Reich, but Angela Merkel and that are.
No, I'm saying if you're pissing folks off, all of a sudden you're banding folks together because they're like, we disagree with your policy. You're just creating coalitions of these different groups. Why? Because it's like, well, if you're telling folks they're terrible people and stuff that, it's like, no wonder they get pissed off.
You're absolutely right. It's so you go around and you start saying, oh, you're just a fucking asshole if you won't accept all these new group identities that were important into our country. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, what about our group identity? Then you're like, fuck, shut up, racist. Go home.
And like you said, I mean, Angela Merkel, she was in the Stasi. I honestly think she would love to see the rise of communism in Europe again. And a lot of her cohorts would as well. And another thing is the ruling body of the EU is not a democratically elected body. Yeah. So
wait, did you just say that Angela Merkel was in one of the old communist?
Yeah, she comes from Europe. She was in the Stasi.
Wait, so was she East Germany or West Germany?
East Germany. I just said.
Okay.
This is common knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Even MC knew that, didn't you, MC?
Yes, I did.
MC's an almanac.
No, he's not. I'm pretty sure he's Protestant.
Well, hey, none of us are perfect.
I am.
What kind of restaurant do I get an almanac at?
I think it's part of the Fresca menu.
Hold on, isn't that almanac? Isn't that famous DJ from the 50s? You know, wow, what's happening?
Is that one of those seasonal McDonald's sandwiches?
We buffered. I know we buffered, Brian, when I was actually talking about trying to answer your question. Did you hear my answer or not? Just out of curiosity, just put it in the chat. Sorry for interrupting everybody.
MC was asked a question. He must know if his answer was received.
I honestly want MC to take a glance at the article that the Smithsonian just posted that I pasted into the Hangouts chat at 5:54 p.m. or 5:41 p.m.
You just want to hear him yell.
In the Hangouts chat?
Yeah, it's in the Hangouts chat. I mean, I could put it in Discord if you need to fucking see it in there.
No. At 4:41?
4:41.
Well, 4:41 for me.
That was a good time for me to miss a letter on the keyboard, isn't it? Telling Bruni that I actually had an education, but actually
actually, I do just want to make him mad because he's going to read the fucking headline and he's going to go ballistic.
This is why I haven't asked you what the article's about.
You want to get somebody mad? Give it to freaking Mad Dodge.
Mad Dodge,
absolutely apoplectic.
Click on it. Click on the article. Mad Dodge, did he just?
This sounds like peer pressure.
That's pretty common.
No, it's net neutrality.
Century-old trees, manicured lawns, a tidy ceremony, and a babbling brook. The Jefferson Davis Home and Presidential Library is a marvelously peaceful green oasis amid garish casinos, T-shirt shops, and other tourist traps along Highway 90 in Biloxi, Mississippi. One gray October morning, about 650 local school children on a field trip to Beauvoir, as the home was called, poured out of the buses in the parking lot. A few ran into the yard in the front of the main house to explore the sprawling live oak, whose lower limbs reached across the lawn in like massive arms. In the gift shop, they perused Confederate memorabilia, mugs, shirts, caps, and sundry items, many emblazoned with the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. It was
my God, how racist!
Was a big annual event called Fall Muster. So the field behind the library was teeming with reenactors cast as Confederate soldiers, soldiers, Sutler. I don't know even how to pronounce that. Sutlers. Sutlers.
Sutlers.
What the hell's a sutler?
I don't fucking know.
I've never even seen that word. I'm going to have to look it up. All right, camp followers. A group of fourth graders from D'Iberville, all right, a quarter of them black, crowded around a table heaped with 19th century military gear, binoculars, satchels, bayonets, rifles. A portly white man, sweating profusely in his Confederate uniform, loaded a musket and fired to oohs and ahs. Okay, and? So basically this is all about slavery. I want to tell them the honest truth that slavery was good and bad. While there were some hateful slave owners, she said there was good people. There was good for people that didn't know how to take care of themselves, and they needed a job. And you had good slave owners like Jefferson Davis, who took care of his slaves and treated them like family, and he loved them.
Yeah, so really the article starts a little. Yeah, so this guy's just trying to fucking beef it up real nice to make people think how we're indoctrinating children into thinking false things about the Civil War. Yeah, when they said slavery was both good and bad, I'm sure there was more context to it, right? Like you could keep going further. And the guy was like, obviously, like the dude, I guarantee you everybody involved was like, no, it was a fucking horrible institution. I just mean the fact that we brought slaves to America, like the outcomes resulted in things that were good and bad.
First of all, and I might get banned. I might get I might get people banned and it'll get people upset, but I don't care. When you talk about slavery, all right, and especially as it was practiced or it came to be practiced in the United States, okay, there were huge differences because of how society and how technology had changed the society and the conditions of slavery. All right, and slavery became very much part of an industrial type of a mentality that was involved in it. Okay, slavery up until the 1700s was practiced everywhere by every group. All right, there wasn't a group anywhere in the world that did not practice some form of slavery, to include the Native Americans. All right, through in North America and Latin America. Okay, so the idea that slavery in and of itself as an institution was somehow quote unquote bad. All right, did life for a slave, was it a good thing? No. Did it suck? Yeah. In many countries, slaves though were treated very, very well. I mean, if you go back to like the ancient times, but it was the industrialization mechanisms that changed.
MC, there's still folks in bondage. They don't have their freedom. I understand what you're trying to say, but it's like there's still folks in bondage. Just that.
No, it's morally repugnant. It's wrong. But there's two things I want to.
What do you mean it's wrong? See,
no. There's well, okay. At now, like, look at me. It's 2018. I'm against slavery. Congratulations. But like to your point, when you judge history, you can't judge it by the morality of today, right? Most of human history, we've gotten all moral questions wrong.
Right.
So the Confederacy, this is my own words, the Confederacy was not unique in being wrong about the moral proposition of slavery. We've been wrong about that for most of human history, and some places in the world right now still get it wrong. Most of
human history. I mean, all of human history had slaves. That's what my point was.
Yeah, but this is what really irritates me about that article. We have spent $40 million since whatever. I don't remember what it said since.
Perpetuating a racist ideology.
Yeah, you're ridiculous. What, you want to tear down Jefferson Davis's home now and erase some more history? What about the Confederate White House in Richmond? Should we tear that down too?
You shouldn't erase any history. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It is part of your heritage.
Well, and it's also not to say that there was nothing admirable about these people's character, right? Like I said, slavery wasn't fucking unique to the South. It's like, if we're going to judge everybody by the morality of today, based on the morality they exercised at their time, then we may as well just take them all down.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Slavery still exists across the Middle East and even into the Far East.
No, but my point is that the real abuses of slavery, all right, came about on a wide scale as a result of mechanization. Okay, That's what's changed people's minds more than anything else, right? Was that just how far and how dehumanizing it could become due to mechanization, what mechanization allowed. Okay, and that's where I was trying to go with this. So the reason people got no longer wanted slaves, the reason people thought of it as really, you know, absolutely abhorrent. There were people who always thought that it was immoral to some degree, but to be honest, they were the exceptions. They weren't the rule. They started becoming the rule, all right, after mechanization began to show people just how dehumanizing and utterly dehumanizing it could become on a grand scale. Okay, that's when people started seeing really, okay, what is this? How bad can it actually be? All right, I'm not justifying slavery in any way, shape, or form. Right, but you take a look at the context. Initially, who were slaves? Well, slaves were the people who fought a war and lost.
Yep.
That's who became slaves. That's who were captured. You fought a war or you fought a battle somewhere, and you were not victorious. And guess what? That was the standard. People expected to go into bondage or into slavery if you fought a battle and you lost. That was.
Well, we've gotten better.
What do you mean we've gotten better?
We try not to have far fewer slaves, and
that's because
it's something that with rare instances it's essentially something we don't do anymore.
No human being should be property.
Yeah, so
nobody would want
no human being
that to be done
property
to them,
because we pretty much kill them to the extent that they don't exist anymore on wholesale slaughter.
Well, we should still avoid genocide.
I don't disagree that we should avoid genocide. I'm just pointing out some of the realities of the situation.
I don't know, man. I've been listening to some blue check marks on Twitter. They're talking about how tasty white genocide sounds.
And when you go back further in time, especially into the classical world, you were a slave, right? Say Greek or Romans. You had a huge chance to get an education, improve your lot. In fact, earn money and buy your own freedom. And many Greek and Roman slaves came out as full citizens of like the city-state they were in, or the Roman Empire, and had a good education and ended up owning businesses and slaves themselves.
Yep.
Batman, not everyone was Spartacus.
Didn't he die?
Memes go back to grade school. Seriously.
Fine. My apologies, Gannicus.
Okay, for example, if I'm not mistaken, all right, I believe Aristotle was a slave at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And what you call the guy who had the Athenian navy, Pericles? His slave actually went on to become a big businessman in Athens after the First Persian War.
Yeah, well, you have examples of that in the South as well, with freedmen of color actually they were released. They were no longer slaves. They went out, bought their own plantation and their own slaves.
The point being, slavery has never been about race. It's always been about economics.
Well, and there's worse things than being a slave, a serf. You have no way of getting out of that at all, ever. I mean, ask fucking the Russians, during the Tsars.
Serfs were sold on with the land. They were part of the land.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the institution.
Wait, so they were like trees?
Yeah, the institution of serfdom was created. All right. To allow people, right, as the Roman Empire collapsed, the institution of serfdom came into vogue, just so people would say, okay, if nothing else, I'm always tied to this land. This land is always going to be a piece of this is always mine, all right, regardless of whether or not I'm the ruler, all right.
Yep.
But and the reason for that is so that they could farm enough to make sure that they themselves didn't starve, so that they themselves and their families were not starved out. That was the purpose behind the acceptance of.
As
of
I
serfdom.
remember it, as a serf, yeah, you were tied to the land. You could be sold on with the land, but you also had certain protections that a tenant didn't have.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, it's also back in the day that if the ruler got too unruly, you could just fucking walk to the next kingdom.
no, because you were a serf, you were tied to that land.
That's what I'm saying is you just go to the kingdom that didn't adhere to that.
They all, about that time, they all did.
Oh, I mean, it's.
What was there freedom of
No,
movement?
they didn't adhere to the other.
No, there was not freedom
the
of
land.
In fact, if you
Oh.
crossed a border into another area, and you didn't pay the local lord's fee for traveling into his border, he could arrest you and then hold you hostage. Which is how
They had
King
tolls
Richard
too?
the Lion, which is how King Richard the Lionhearted was captured and held for ransom by an Austrian duke for a while.
There was freedom of movement within one's own country, particularly if you were a freedman or a freeman.
Well, if you're a freedman, there was certain attendances, but once again, you ran a risk of running afoul of the Lord's whims per se. Okay, if he decided, okay, you have to pay this tax in order to walk into my land, then you better pay that tax, because otherwise, A, you weren't in that land, or B, you were freaking captured and held for ransom until your family coughed up enough money, all right, for you to purchase your freedom.
I'm going by what I know about the practices during English, particularly English history. I mean, for example, we have market towns that were established in Saxon times. And to have a market town, you need freedom of movement up and down the country.
Yeah, but you got to understand that Great Britain, in many ways, was an exception. It wasn't like the rest of Europe.
That's why we say we're not European. Culturally, we're not. We're very different.
I would agree with you there.
Even genetically, actually. There are genetic markers within the native population of the United Kingdom. That
you are more of a mixture than the average European is. That's true.
Yeah, and we have our own uniquenesses as well. I mean, it comes from developing on an island, doesn't it? Or a bunch of islands, actually.
It's called inbreeding.
I thought that was just Wales.
That's just Wales.
Or Welsh.
We have a large breeding population, which accuses us against inbreeding. The Welsh have sheep.
Oh, see, I thought it was a porpoise.
No.
No.
And the Scots have, well, let's face it,
they also have sheep.
The
yeah, but the Scottish sheep
are the explosive sheep from Worms Armageddon?
The Scottish sheep are vicious. So basically the Scots are fucked.
The Scots got mean sheep.
Yeah. That's the real reason why the Scots don't wear kilts. It's because the only thing they've got to please themselves with is the hands.
Oh gosh, what was that joke? Why do the Scots wear kilts? Because the sheep can hear the zippers.
Yeah.
Was that racist?
Yeah, no.
It's a joke.
It was a joke that I suspect that Scotsmen tell each other.
Oh yeah, but they frown on Englishmen when they say it.
Well, it's like everything else. You guys over there will talk bad about the Queen and everything else, but if an American says "fuck the Queen," you guys go berserk.
Well, it's their Queen.
How dare you say that? Yeah, it's our Queen.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, at this point right now, man, like, I just wish the Queen would have some balls and exercise the power that she's supposed to never exercise again.
She doesn't actually have much power. I don't think she cares.
I thought, like, technically the Queen could still do some shit and overrule your parliament there, but they never do.
She could dissolve parliament and demand new elections.
Wait a second, Excel. So what you wait. So what you're telling us is there's still a chance.
Yeah.
But she would have
no. The Brits are too pussified for that to ever happen. So
she's locked into the same mentality though that the Emperor of Japan was locked in prior to World War II.
Yeah, you move, you lose it.
And well, it's not the move you lose it. It's they have they're bound by their own philosophy of what's best for the country.
Yeah.
And in her mind, what's going to be best for the country is if she doesn't exercise that power.
Yeah.
So even if it would be beneficial to the country, she can't see it that way because she's bound by the tradition and everything else.
Does anybody know what the Queen actually thinks about the stuff going on within the Commonwealth?
No, because she won't say. And what Meme says about being bound by, yeah, she said as much herself.
Yeah, but tradition makes it so that she can't speak, so she won't speak. She could she? Yeah, could she get involved in it? Yeah, of course she could. But by tradition and by the mindset that keeps her that she goes by keeps her from actually getting involved and actually taking a hand.
She did issue an official proclamation during the U.S. election there, yeah, when all those celebrities were threatening to leave if Trump got elected. She ordered the RAF that if they found out Miley Cyrus was on a plane bound for the UK, they were to shoot it down.
I don't believe that's actual not fake news, but so well, here's the thing, MC. Does it boil down to the whole with great power comes an even greater responsibility?
Pretty much.
You can look at it that way if you wanted to, but the biggest problem is that the cultural overlay has basically handcuffed her, that she can't escape her own cultural overlay.
It's
so MC, quick question. If you were the Queen, would you do something?
At this point in time, you have to. You've got to sit up there and take control of the courts. They're the
how do you know
courts.
How do you know the Queen doesn't think like you?
Because she hasn't done it. She has technically the power to do it.
What if she's waiting?
For what?
That's a great question.
Okay. I got it. She's waiting on memes to finally fucking pick a side.
Hey, memes did pick a side. Memes picked fucking hell. The Nazi pug side.
What?
Well, apparently Ink Jack has red hair, 6 fingers, and blue skin.
Oh,
thank you for the update, cool. I guess.
Well, he's just going on about inbreeding, so.
But no, I think that article was quite ridiculous. Axel, that you fucking shared. Yeah, we're spending $40 million to fucking keep this racist idea alive.
Yeah, hold on. The thing about it the most is that's from Smithsonian Magazine, right? The Smithsonian, like that's the history museum that's supposed to be like the king of all history museums.
Yeah, it's like it's the History Channel of museums.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And they're supposed to be credible and balanced, and like. At least they kind of quoted the people, but I guarantee you they fucking quoted them out of context.
Above all else, I believe that your historical institutions should be kept absolutely free of political bias.
Well, when it comes to the Civil War, it's pretty fucking hard these days. Like I always grew up because like there's two competing thoughts or ideologies in history. Right? Like all the facts are the same, but the historical claims are different. One is the Confederacy were Americans, which is what I subscribe to. And the other one, which is where this article obviously is coming from, is the Confederacy as others, right? Where they're rebellious traitors. And then they also they start from the end of the war, which turned out to free the slaves, instead of the beginning of the war, which yes, secession had to do with slavery, but I guarantee you, if you told those fucking Union soldiers, hey, yo, the Confederacy, they want to keep slaves and shit, so let's go fight them, the Union would not have, you would have had nobody in your military fighting for that cause.
If the United States federal government had done something like the UK did and simply just say, listen, we're purchasing all folks whom are in bondage and we are freeing them, would we have had a civil war?
No, and I think it would have happened.
How are you going to get Congress to do that?
Well, the House has the power of the purse.
The House has the power of the purse, but that's not the question. All right, you still got to pass it through the Senate, don't you?
Okay.
All right, how are you going to pass something like that through the Senate and then get the president to sign it. And if he doesn't sign it, veto, you're going to have to override a veto with 2/3 in both houses. How are you ever going to meet those standards?
I think it would have taken another 20 years, but I think
I do agree with you. I do agree with you in that regard. You would have seen if the Civil War hadn't happened, what would have happened is over time you would have seen at some point in time somehow that the slaves were going to be freed, probably in a manner of some sort. It wouldn't have been looked upon as purchasing their freedom with the same. There'd be people that would be upset about it because they'd say, "Well, I'm not getting the value of my slave." Right. That was going to happen, but it would have probably come down to that at some point, which would have been great. Or what could have happened, all right, is the petition from southern states to say we no longer wish to be part of the United States because we want to keep slavery, therefore let us go. There were plenty of northerners who said, you know what, why do we want these people as part of the United States? Let's do it. Let's let them go. All right. And you could have said, okay, we're going to repeal your statehood. All right. There were ways they would have done it from a peaceful
and they would have rejected the runaway slave ruling. Right. I mean,
well, because now you're a different nation.
Yeah. And at that point, so that's interesting because I know for sure, like there were abolitionists in the North that were just like, we need to secede from the South. Right, we need to be our own nation because the South and their slaves is too, like it's too much of an evil, and then we no longer have to abide to the runaway slave laws.
Right.
So, and that would have killed. That would have been a secession that killed slavery by attrition.
Well, there was an attempt by Massachusetts to secede over the fugitive slave.
There was not an attempt.
You're welcome.
Not a full attempt. There were rumblings and talks about it. They almost had an ordinance.
So if you go by people talking shit, there's a lot of people who talk shit all the time. I mean, let's be perfectly honest.
Massachusetts progressive sense establishment, aside from the witch trials and stuff.
Oh yeah, just forget about the witch trial stuff. That never happened, right?
But you always had rabble rousers and papers that were making grandiose statements about. I mean, and I don't mean this from a racial standpoint. You always had papers like Mother Jones that would spew all sorts of radical freaking nonsense throughout the United States history.
So people didn't want people to be slaves. I can agree with that.
I'm just using them from a.
Oh no, MC. I'm not doubting pretty much everything you were saying. With very good chance it could have likely come true. I was just focused on the one aspect of had the United States gone through basically what Great Britain had done, and basically just they literally purchased every person whom was owned at that time, and then they changed the law, and basically they made sure all folks were free folks.
But why I'm
just asking if it would have prevented a civil war.
Why were they able to do that, and why wouldn't that work in the United States?
I mean, I would go with the East India Company, but I could be wrong.
No, at the time we were a lot richer than the United States.
We were a lot richer, and the percentage of slaves from a country standpoint, from a population standpoint, wasn't even close.
Well, you had
different economic drivers
in the Caribbean as well.
Yes, yeah, but still. But in comparison to the entire nation,
I will agree.
That was a small population differential.
MC, I'm not disagreeing with you at all here.
Okay, so, but I just wanted to point this out. There were reasons why it hadn't happened in the United States. Do I think over time, as the population of the North drastically increased over time, because it would have? All right, then yeah, I think it probably could have come to that, but it didn't. And you have to live with the world, what did happen, whether you like it or not. You got to live with the consequences of what did go down and how it was settled in the United States.
Well, we were heavily textile based.
One of the dirty tricks there.
The thing that people forget about the United States is whether you like it or not. The United States, we are a violent group of people and always have been.
People are violent groups of people. Yeah. Batman, are you trying to steal Tiger Lily away from the Quinns?
Yes.
Maybe.
He likes tigers. But
That
no,
was-
well, here's the thing, MC. I would stand by, as far as the United States of America goes, we're a bunch of badasses. At least we used to be. We used to actually like focus on like great big things and actually like do stuff and things and actually like try to do some good in the world even when we were fucking up. And now it's like we're just bickering among ourselves over like having a flag up on a college campus.
Well,
I mean, like, really?
Who is it that's doing that, and why?
Oh, well. Here's the. Oh God, cabbage has come. Hide the sandworms.
Hey, Cabby.
Might have got to say during the War of Independence, the state of Georgia played a horrible trick. They freed the slaves in Georgia to fight the English, and then when the war was over, they made them slaves again.
Yeah, well, easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
Fuck it. No. Well. That's the thing. It's like even up here in Massachusetts. Yeah, the U.S. was heavily textile based at the time. If you look at what was going on, yeah, there was a lot of cotton and everything being harvested down south. It was being railroaded up here, and we had basically kids like in the mill cities, like I'm at, just freaking like going in and fixing stuff in the power looms, occasionally losing fingers because the children were small and they could get their little hands in there. It's like, yeah, dude, I like to think that we've come a long way.
Yeah, it means you should have coal workers in Wales and Yorkshire.
I've heard stuff from Australia. I'm sure
put them down the ventilator, the ventilator shafts. The children used to go down into them. They were like 7 or 8 years old because they had to open and close the vents. So they would literally be 24/7.
Oh yeah,
like pretty much, in the dark. They ended up with rickets and all kind, like vitamin E deficiencies and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
that happened.
You had the same with the mines and stuff.
Yeah, that happened in several areas in the United States and some of the mining communities in the U.S. as well. But people don't talk about it for some reason.
Yeah, that's common
That's
knowledge.
because it's very sad.
And the mills, like you said,
cotton
mills.
It was something that people were doing at the time because one of the main reasons was because they didn't know any better. Right? There weren't a lot of things. People forget that science and the philosophical underpinnings of science is actually relatively new.
Yeah, but
just because that's a thing doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, there's also a moral aspect to it as well. As to I'm sure they could have redesigned things so that they didn't have to use children. I mean, like in the cotton mills, for example, because of the steam. Like the steam-powered looms that they were using. I mean, that would literally take. Kids got killed. They get their head stuck and they just literally get crushed by a steam piston.
Okay. But that kid was happy to have that job too.
I wouldn't say happy to have it, but I mean,
but he was able to sit up there and provide for a family and help out. Many of those people were happy that they had a job.
If an adult yells at a child, often a child won't say no.
I'm not sure the 7-year-old really comprehended the ins and outs of economics.
Yeah, many of these people were far more hardier than we are today.
Oh, hardy, yeah, but I don't think they had a particular insight. I mean, they did the jobs because otherwise you don't get fed. There wasn't social security like there is now.
That was a time.
Either work or go hungry.
Yeah, that was not unique to that time. Like 99% of human history is
exactly
fucking you work hard all your life and you fucking die young. That's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
this is why it's so amazing, right? That we have all these fucking people whinging about how bad the West is now, when we've never had it so fucking good. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, during the times of child labor, I think they were living a little bit longer than they were like on the farms whenever you had to pump out like 18 kids just to fucking field your farm to feed yourself.
Yeah.
Because 12 of them are going to die.
Well, yeah, because most of them died by the time they were 3. The mortality rate was close to 50%.
Yeah, or tuberculosis at some point,
influenza and another whole issue. I mean, and that was before, once again, people knew what diseases were. People didn't know what. I mean, for the most part, people up until the mid 1800s believed that you got sick because of demons.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, and that was a well thought out philosophy throughout the United States as well.
Wait, that's not how you get sick.
Hey, nobody likes bad voodoo.
No, that's not how you get sick. And no, the cure is not cocaine.
It's also not
Wow.
It was
I have
not,
to
it's also
rethink
not
my
blowing
life
up a
now.
beaver by pressing on its anus.
Well, see, I was going to go with The Simpsons. Nothing a little morphine can't fix. Opiates are very addictive. Stay away.
So yeah, I mean, like I say, but going back to the this thing where all of these fucking liberals
real quick. I'll be right back.
Right.
Endlessly moaning about the tiniest little fucking Western problem, and I'd love for get a group of those people, a TV show or something, and literally dump them into what it would have been like in, say, Victorian era or something like that.
We could call it Survivor.
Actually get them. No, because that's not. No, because that's on a nice little island and they get lots of things, No, I mean, put them into, a stone house where they've got to maintain the same sort of discipline as the Victorians did. The cleanliness is next to godliness and all that. So you got to soap down over your front stoop every morning and, make everything look good. And you got to maintain your parlor and you got to have your, you got to cook everything from scratch.
So let them go back to nature and stick them in Alaska in a hut.
Well,
see,
I thought
that's
Cab was
too
describing to B's roommate.
No, you see, that's too difficult, MC. I mean, it would just be instant death. I mean, you've got to see them just bitch and fucking moan about how bad it is, right? There's no point just sort of like the camera crew turns up the next day and they all die from hypothermia.
Hypothermia, man. I want to see them go hug the bear and find out what happens.
Wow,
the poor polar bears. Let me go save it.
Exactly.
Don't fuck with the Kodiak.
Oh god.
Aliens too.
Oh god.
Little brown bears. I had a teddy bear as a child. I want to hug one.
I miss quarter.
Oh, look at the cute thing running out there. What's up?
Oh, look at the little cub. And not realizing mummy's round the corner and daddy's looking on, getting very pissed off.
I like bears, even if they are godless killing machines.
That's why I like them.
I don't like bears. No, every freaking summer they come up in here and knock the fucking dumpster over. Fuck bears.
Hey, it's already you've
What,
got a
drop
mountain line
bears?
to guard you. Oh, be careful, Space.
That's what we need, to take drop bears into space and completely confuse them. They wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Be floating bears.
You'd be fuck with their minds.
Oh god. Just keep Tom away from them, or else they'll be flying through space on trebuchets. Oh my god, another one's been launched.
The trebuchet bears.
Yeah.
Well, that's if the trebuchet gets into space.
Yep.
Was that a Bearstein Bears book? Bearstein Bears and the Trebuchet?
No, dude. That's a dude. The trebuchet is me and Tom Penoid's plan to secure our border.
Can we trebuchet Bruni?
You'd be more
If he
successful
answers
with
the
drop
legal,
bears.
sure.
I'm gonna. It's trebuchets for the anchor babies, isn't it?
Don't harm animals.
Don't farm
Bruni
it.
isn't an animal. Well, technically he
human.
is, but he's a human.
So, well, in that case, it's safe to use the catapults.
I haven't heard any direct calls to violence. So.
How about we stick him in the stocks
I haven't heard any direct
and
calls to
then aim a
violence.
cannon at him?
Well, I mean that sounds like your weekend with your hubby, but I mean, no, I'm sorry, that was ad hominem.
There's no call for violence. I mean, putting someone on a trebuchet and launching them—that's not violent. You can always give them a parachute.
Well, no, it's
Say a cannon of
It's only violent.
pepper spray.
If the point is not a place that they can land comfortably.
Just
Which,
give them a parachute. They'll be all right.
if the trebuchet is on our border and their landing point is on another border, then it's not our fault if they can't land comfortably.
No, you
Other
launched it. You're responsible for your projectile.
Oh,
Mexico, Mexico is responsible for the cushioning.
Oh, fuck off with your liberal bullshit.
Exactly. Oh, he'll never stop.
You would make more fun. You make more money giving people rides into the Gulf of Mexico. Just put it down in Louisiana during friggin' Mardi Gras or something. People would pay to use that.
Fucking whiny liberal.
I have a question. I come back and I find that Sharati's triggered Bruni in the chat. What does she do?
Oh, that's just the internet.
Fair enough.
I don't think she's that emotional.
No, I said she triggered
You don't
Bruni.
think that Sharati is emotional?
Oh,
what did you do?
You'd have to ask her that, MC.
Sharati, what did you do to trigger Bruni?
Women not emotional, please.
I know she hates my partner in crime.
No, I'm trying to understand where you even came up with that philosophical analysis. Memes.
What?
He doesn't have one. It's just random thoughts that pop into his head. He has no internal dialogue.
Come on, cabbage.
All right, that's how it works.
Wait,
why is
which
it our
point?
fault that we launched him over a border?
What?
Why is it our fault that we launched people over a border using the trebuchet?
Because you're violating the NAP.
No,
Well,
we put up signs saying, like, if you cross this border, you're volunteering yourself to be launched onto a fucking trebuchet, and it is up to your country of origin to provide safe landing spaces.
And it's
Excel, I love you, brother, but that sounds very eerily similar to the platform of Herman Cain when he proposed putting an electric fence on the border. He's like, there will be 20 feet high, electrified, with a sign on both sides that said, keep back, this will kill you.
What's wrong with that?
Fence that says if you cross this border, you will be shot.
He
They all need to be fucking shot anyway.
It was just a joke.
Yeah, but memes, what the fuck is wrong with that? I mean, you have those actually on farms as well, certain,
Yeah, but how much electricity is it going to take to run a fence on the border? We're still having brownouts in a lot of our infrastructure.
You can do it. You can do geothermal. Actually, no, down there. No,
hold the morality.
No. You'd be fine down there because you've got plenty of sunshine. So
solar
power the whole thing and make it.
If that's the part that bothers you, the cost of the electric fence, then let's do it the cheap way. It's called landmines.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been over this before.
I like
We're
that
avoiding
idea.
genocide.
How is that genocide?
We're cleaning that up in Eastern Europe. No.
How is that genocide?
It's not fucking genocide.
You're
It's just a
laying
violation of the
landmines
Geneva
on
Convention.
the southern
What about
US border.
landmines? If you're not using landmines, what about pit traps with punji stakes?
Wait, hold on, MC. Did you say mines or mines?
No, hey, shut up, memes, for a fucking second. No, landmines aren't technically against the Geneva Convention. That's the cluster ones. They drop from planes.
Yeah.
The fragmentation.
No, other cluster bombs are a violation. I could have swore landmines were recently adopted as a violation, weren't they?
They did say that there is a new UN resolution against landmines. Guess who didn't sign it?
Oh, who listens to the UN?
Well, it was the U.S. and Russia haven't signed it, correct?
I mean, seriously,
U.S., Russia, and China.
Who the fuck listens to the UN?
Well, not the U.S., Russia, and China.
MC, I'm starting to think all this shady pizza stuff is actually maybe back-end money going towards certain places to say, we don't want to sign this. And
I'm starting to think that you're a centrist that really is more of a leftist.
Ding!
We've got commie infiltrators.
That fucking bitch, Lady Diana, she was the one who kicked off the whole fucking issue.
Yeah, she did this. She was one of the ones that was
Lady Diana.
We're gonna stop all the poor landmines from harming children.
Oh, but Princess Diana
wait a
was a
second.
saint.
What happened to Princess Diana?
She got the death she deserved.
Oh, shit.
What a terrible human being.
No. She should have died through VD.
It's
the only reason she was going out with Dodi Al-Fayed, a Muslim, was to piss off the royal family. That's
Look what it got her. It got her.
Cow.
Got her a death sentence, silly bitch.
Well, we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, got her a death sentence, silly bitch.
Weeping. All those crocodile tears.
That's a classic. Oh my god.
Are you saying that the queen had her killed?
I am saying there's a distinct possibility that she was possibly upsetting the royal family, and who will rid me of this turbulent priest?
Cabbage. Let's bring this all the way around. If we're even going to entertain that idea, you're saying there's not a chance the queen might actually do something?
No, he's fully saying that could happen. He is basically using historical anecdotes from the past that have shown they've done it before, they'll do it again. He's flat out saying it.
I dislike where this conversation has gone.
Why? What is wrong with talking about reality? Memes? Why do you try to escape reality?
Because I remember after she passed, and it was very sad.
You get sad about a puppy looking at you and it has tears in its eyes.
You're a fucking whiny little bitch. You're a spineless, whiny little cunt.
That you cried over Cujo dying.
I never watched that movie.
Yeah, I mean, who gets sad about?
I watched the
sad? I mean, come on, man.
Seriously, just put your tutu on and just let me. Just come out of the closet,
honey.
What?
He still thinks
there were many words there.
I said you would cry over Pet Cemetery, honey.
You are. I swear to God, you are Riley Dennis in the making. You're just another one waiting to happen.
So you're saying there's a shot
there. That's a bit insulting. Calling it Riley Dennis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It has to be said. There's no point sugarcoating it.
Right now.
I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm saying as it is.
Cabbage, you apologize to Riley Dennis right now.
Ow. Batman takes it further.
No, that was brutal.
Well, let's face it.
I approve that message.
Let's face it. Memes thinks Old Yeller got rabbits at the end.
He did?
Yeah, but Memes thinks a lot of things. It doesn't
no, he
mean
doesn't.
that we have to actually listen.
Duh.
He doesn't think a lot of things.
It's true.
He does.
That's what you guys are
The
for.
thoughts happen to pierce through his mind occasionally, and then he has no inner dialogue, so they just get regurgitated. He is the NPC.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Memes, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are
Shoot
one
yourself.
in a million. You take a lot of shit from us and you keep coming back.
Well, it wasn't the whole structure about a lot of stuff on the internet is not caring about things that people say on the internet. I hear folks say that all the time, but
are you saying you're living the life?
I'm living the dream.
Okay.
Yeah, but whose?
It's a very good question.
As long as he's comfortable with the dream that he's wishing, you know.
Well, hey, you just gotta embark, man. Life's just a journey.
Tiger Lily is asking if that's the reason why Princess Di was called the Queen of Hearts, and the real reason is because secretly she used to eat children's hearts.
Oh Jesus!
No, Tiger Lily.
Can't get too much darker now, can it?
Oh, that sounds like
Who
blasphemy.
wants to talk about the Mars rover?
Oh, hang on.
Tiana?
No, I think I heard something from David Icke about that. We have evidence.
From snooker commentator to son of God.
So, coming back from the Alex Jones dive, we got a robot on Mars. I can see.
They're turning the robots gay.
What? No, we're looking for water.
They're turning the robots gay.
The robot's non-binary.
No, it's definitely binary.
Okay,
Memes. How can you assume something like that?
Wait, we ain't using no quantum computers for the fucking Mars rover. If we're gonna use it for anything, we'd want to use it for something like useful, right?
Hey, can you imagine?
No, you don't know what they get up to. Hey, listen, what happened?
Oh my god, me.
What happens on Mars stays on Mars, mate.
No,
There it
Cabbage, we're
goes.
fucking going there.
Hey,
We're going there.
shut up.
I don't care if
Shiny
it's Elon
rock.
Musk, which is him himself, and maybe Irene. But
No, you.
we need.
When the first
If we're
humans
going to avoid
arrive,
killing each other, we need space.
when we
Laban's
find
right.
when
Laban's right. Listen to
when-
him. Laban's right.
Can you imagine if NASA was so cheap that Mars rover was a coin op?
when the first
It's running on
fucking
quarters.
humans
It's a terrible fuel.
when the first humans arrive on Mars, they're just going to find two robots that died in coitus.
It's so sad. That sounds like Wall-E,
Oh my fucking god.
but it had a happy ending.
Well,
You know,
you
you
honestly
If you know you've only got
surprised
three, if you know you've only got 3 minutes left on your battery supply, you've got to do something with it, right? It's kind of like the 3 minutes. It's either that or boil an egg.
Play a fair.
Or both. You can use the egg to time yourself.
Put in the videotape of My Fair Lady.
You know what's going to happen? We colonized Mars, and within like 50 years of it, yeah, the SJWs would be complaining that we actually killed off the Martians who don't actually exist.
Well, that is true. They're already complaining. They got NASA scientists that are all worried that we shouldn't actually visit anything because we might contaminate it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Is there a flag there yet?
There's a flag in the moon.
Is there a flag on Mars?
No, there's a flag. Well, no, yeah, there are flags on Mars. Yeah, there are on the rovers.
On the rovers themselves.
No.
The
Has it
American
been
flag is on the
implanted
actual rover.
into the Martian soil?
No.
Nope.
I don't know.
Well,
Why hasn't anybody claimed it
depending
yet?
upon how you look at it, I mean, we sent one into the Martian soil at about I don't know, Mach 12.
Yeah.
Hey, just
It's pretty hard, isn't it?
and then we
I'd say
programmed
that,
it in
Barry.
meters, but
Right,
it's happened. Nobody's perfect.
Apparently, France is claiming ownership of the moon because they say there's one of their flags there.
The white flag.
Yeah. They're having a fight with the Italians over that one.
So why is nobody hurrying to be like, we're going to Mars because we're going to claim it?
Elon Musk, anybody? He's gonna create his own fucking plan.
Yeah, but no, it's not. It's because of the international space agreements, isn't it? You know, there's like everything's going to be all fucking, memes-ish. So can you imagine if fucking space was like the life of memes? And his
what? Oh, you mean Asgardia?
No, Fairyland.
Yeah, fucking knows.
Memes, I really am going to shoot you.
La La
one of these days.
Land. La la
Oh,
la
talking
la
about
la,
Elon Musk.
la.
Do you know that there's an idiotic conspiracy theory going around that Elon Musk is actually an alien sent here to improve our technology and get us into space?
It's a terrible disguise.
But it is a terrible disguise.
Whoa. Here's the thing. How far off are many of the things that I believe, well, probably me with the major exception of having to give up U.S. citizenship, than Asgardia?
Oh god, who's that fucking basketball player?
Oh, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, now Dennis Rodman. Now that's a bad fucking disguise.
What about that fucking Canadian fucking
Cabbage? Do I need to invite Ambassador Rodman again? Because you are dissing him. You might as well do it to his proverbial face on the internet.
Nobody got the reference. It's Men in Black 2 at the end.
Oh yeah, no, it was
Rodman.
from Men in Black. That was where I got mine from. I just replaced Dennis Rodman to be creative.
Yeah, well, wasn't. Okay, MC, take care of yourself, mate.
Yeah, it's time for me to go. So I'll talk to you all later.
See you, man.
Night, MC.
Bye.
Are we just going to turn Mars into
How about a disguise is Justin Bieber?
Anyway,
that hair of his.
Batman, I have a real question. Are we just going to turn Mars into a junkyard with all our shitty fucking robot technology?
No, worse than that. Worse than that. Disney Planet.
I like
no.
It's really expensive, though.
Yeah, of course you do. Yes, you like it. Keep
So
telling your memes about this. You missed a fucking potato head. You never learn, do you?
I like
just-
Mr.
seriously,
Potato.
just-
Every fucking time. Every fucking time.
Justin Bieber. You take off that wig,
autism.
you take off Justin Bieber's wig, and you've got Roger the alien from bloody American Dad. Just think about it.
I don't know,
My
but
God.
I think we're
yeah, Mars. Well, I mean, plus, what the fuck is that? I mean, really, if you're gonna live there, I mean, this idea of converting it back into a planet. I mean, it's like terraforming it or whatever. It's impossible because it hasn't got any atmosphere. I mean, unless you have
It's put the gravity down.
like we have, but you need to have a molten core in order to create.
You need a magnetic field, yeah.
Exactly. So you need the electromagnetic field to protect you from all the solar winds.
How many
That
asteroids
doesn't even
and comets
exist.
would it take?
Well, no, it wouldn't. You couldn't do it that way. It wouldn't work. It's just it's not possible.
Apparently, it was probably a massive asteroid hit that destroyed Mars's magnetic field anyway. Because it has a magnetic field, it's just all over the place.
Well, it doesn't have an active or molten core.
So, I mean, you
probably hasn't got a molten core now.
And the only way to habitate, I mean, why we wouldn't try the moon first? Because at least there's a chance to save people. I mean, you're going to live underground like a fucking mole person.
Oh, well, the moon's cool.
Yeah.
You could live in domes.
Well, yeah, but not realistically, because I mean, they're too open to potential. No, they're too open to potential. Violate micro meteorites or whatever. But so you'd want to use caves. You'd want to have things built into the mountains. Use existing caves. Seal them off and then put an atmosphere into them somehow. But that's about all you could realistically do. So you're just going to live like a fucking mole for the rest, for all of your existence. What a living! I mean, that sounds fucking wonderful, doesn't it? Never seeing, blue sky, never seeing anything. I mean, it's just hideous. What a fucking life.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I want the cloud city plans for Venus. That stuff's pretty awesome.
Oh yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you believe that bullshit?
Oh, I want it so
It's a
hard.
very interesting idea.
No, it's bullshit. When they say that, the clouds moving and that thing's there, everyone knows what that is. That is called a mountain range. That's the reason that it's not floating. It's just coming through the clouds. And, and the reason that it's consistent is because it's rotating with the fucking planet. Because that's what mountains tend to do.
Cabby, it was worse than that. Cloud City was in the upper atmosphere of the gas giant, I believe.
Cabby, are you on Discord right now?
No, not at the moment.
Well, my husband just sent you a link to something on Discord that had to do with Mars.
Oh, okay. Check it out.
Chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said.
Well. Here's my major question to Cabby. Cabby, when was the last time you went home?
What?
What?
Oh,
What's that got to do with anything? It's nonsense. That's a bullshit argument. So ridiculous. The idea of going
I was
home.
insinuating you were a Martian.
Come.
It was more timely 2.5
I
minutes
see.
ago.
Right, yeah. Doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
don't be silly, he's a Venusian.
Never mind. Such a goon.
I'm sorry I disappointed you, Cabby. I disappointed myself.
You didn't, at least that's one thing that's reliable.
Why don't they try and settle like Titan or something like that?
Titan is a ball of ice.
There's too many giants there.
It's hydrocarbon. Literally, the rocks hyper-frozen water ice.
Oh, I got
We
to
don't
say,
want to
thank
find
you.
any
Oz.
Lokis there.
What was that, Shah?
We don't want to find any Lokis there.
That's that as well, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that, Oz. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, they claim that they're just going to create an artificial magnetic field and the energy requirements for that. I'd love to get someone like Thunderfoot or one of these other researchers to actually look at the energy requirement like that for a planet.
Well, we can power it with solar roadways.
Something like that would take like cold fusion.
They're not just exponentially difficult. They are, they're factorials.
We
That's
couldn't
how
do it
big
with
we're
the technology we have today.
Yeah. It would take something like cold fusion, a technology that we haven't even created yet.
No, you know what it would take? It would take actually getting the planet to have a molten core. That's what it would take in order to get anything sustainable.
So how many nukes or how many submarines of Ragnaros will we need?
You first of all have to drill down the fucking the iron ball at the center of Mars, basically, and melt that.
Yeah.
We don't have anything that could produce the amount of heat to melt it.
What's the center of Mars made of?
If you were to try and do something like that, the energy that you would need in order to ignite the center of it would actually blow it apart to begin with anyway. So it would be a futile exercise, and then we just end up with fragments of a planet.
What if we did it slowly?
On potentially, what do you mean slowly? What? Slowly explode a nuclear weapon?
No,
surely that's within the realms of reality.
Other than tossing a bunch of nukes in the core of a planet.
He means melted slowly.
Shit. Yeah, but it's not the core that's it doesn't have to be melted. You've got to make it into a molten core.
Yes, and you start
You've got to get the entire planet to such a point. The whole planet's got to be at such a point that it's going to maintain the heat as well, right? So you can't just, because if you just heat the center and then it just keeps radiating heat out, right? That's no fucking good. Not only does the core have to be hot, it actually has to be molten and it has to be flowing. Because that's
what we have to build a Dyson sphere around the planet to help maintain heat.
No, you don't build Dyson spheres around planets. You build Dyson spheres around suns.
What? Could you build something much more basic than that?
You are a gibbering idiot.
James, the biggest reason that Mars doesn't have a molten core anymore is because of its size. It cooled down a lot quicker than the Earth is cooling down. Because the Earth is, in fact, our core is, in fact, cooling down. It'll probably, but the length of time it'll take our planet to cool down to that extent is probably as long as the sun's got left.
Well, and also we've got the extra added bonus of the moon, which is the Earth is not actually circular, obviously. So we got tidal forces which are squishing and pulling it. So we've actually got additional energy being fed into the system.
Oh, that's true.
Exactly what happens
why
with
are we
Io.
building something that's meant to encompass a star?
Oh, no, that's why I said if we could build a much lower basic variant, basically creating like an artificial atmosphere, a way to help redirect heat.
You've seen Spaceballs too many times. That atmosphere shield just would not work.
No, I was thinking more like solar panels or something photovoltaic.
You
could actually generate it.
You would think in an
that
atmosphere
was part of it. Just
Mars.
make sure you change the passcode.
No, if you're going to have an atmosphere, and at the end of the day, if you are going to live on another planet, unless it's an M-class planet, unless it's something reasonable that we can actually go out and enjoy, there's no point really going there.
There are also hypotheses out there that if you land on an alien planet, you might not be able to survive on it if the natural energy fields, like the magnetic fields and such forth, aren't similar to what we have on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what magnets are for.
Memes, I blame you. My husband seriously just looked up Planet Druidia.
Wait, what?
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about the Mars lander. I think it's pretty much just drilling into the ground to try and find water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all. All
and
it's
microbes
doing.
or
It found
signs of
a
life.
steel rock.
What?
Yeah,
If
I had teleportation capabilities, I would leave in the path of the Mars rover, a fedora hat and a bullwhip and a flag saying Indiana Jones was here.
You're Dr. Manhattan?
No, I said
great. You can watch the ancient alien fucking guys just lose their shit if you put like just some random thing there, right in the path of the rover. Yeah, a spoon. Put just a fucking spoon. They're gonna lose their shit.
A life-size model of an Imperial Walker.
Actually, you don't even need anything. Just a shadow will do it. You know, they can read a lot into a shadow.
Yeah, I know. I love watching those fucking videos because they're hilarious.
Autographed Dennis Rodman 8x10.
Yeah, no. Well, but what you need is you need an effigy of Elvis.
and a blow-up doll.
What is a blow-up doll doing on Mars?
Don't do it, Pat.
Exactly.
Yes, but Elvis makes sense, right?
I actually didn't hear you say Elvis was on Mars, but actually,
I said
we should.
I said send if there was an
actually said Alvin
on Mars, and the rover came along and photographed it. You know how much that would please the ancient alien conspirators.
Another funny thing would be where
give them some new material.
Even though they're still going about the face of Mars, if you can actually carve an actual face where that is. But on the on the exact opposite side of Mars, you carve the arse.
I like that. That'd be fucking golden. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all the news I got from the last week. We've been going longer than 2 hours. We've hit 2.5. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Any final thoughts from anybody on the panel?
Yeah, memes. You're a total fucking spineless wanker. Just yeah, just what I throw it out there.
40 ounce. Are you gonna be making a video anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm almost done making one. I just got done recording today, and I ripped some footage and whatnot. The title's gonna be Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong.
Obviously it's a comedy.
That's clickbait right there.
A little bit. It's a little bit of clickbait. It's a
So
little
40 ounce is finally telling the truth about his affair with her anyway.
Memes has got another one. Memes has converted another one. Fuck me. Well, we need to do an intervention.
Actually, 40, that actually works because it's a double negative. Yeah. What you've literally said is Hillary Clinton did something wrong.
Pretty much, kind of. It's I don't want to ruin it,
but didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people miss that.
Yeah, the simple double negative didn't do nothing wrong. Negative negates the negative, so it becomes a positive. So she did do something wrong.
Yep.
Duck season.
Thank you.
It's like saying I wouldn't not rape you means I would.
Yeah. Oh,
funny how that's where your mind goes.
It was a
threat.
Yeah, drag queen season.
I didn't specify who.
All right. Well, as always, I'm taking Tuesday off for school shit. So we'll be back on Wednesday. Good night. Good luck. And burn, Paris, burn.